Okay, so what we're going to do this time is make a door that opens and closes by itself. Now, normally when you make a door, you will have a box collision and it'll open a set specific, very controlled amount of opening. But we're going to make a door based on physics. So, I've modelled this door and I've brought it in. It's bloody massive. But first thing we need to do is change the anchor point, the rotation point. Because if I rotate this now, you can see it rotates not how doors should rotate. So I'm actually going to go up to selection mode, go to modeling, X-form, and edit pivot. Now you can choose things and here like left, right. You could even, if you wanted to, grab the little gizmo and move it into sort of place. When you're happy with it, accept. So I'm going to come out of selection mode, and what I'm going to do now is create a new blueprints class. So I'm going to right click into my space, create an actor, and I'm going to call it open door underscore BP, or words of that nature. And I'm going to drag and drop my door in. Let's bring that window over here. So here you go, you can see my bloody massive door. Let's change that to like 0.06 maybe. Let's drag it, let's remove it from the level and drag it into our level so we can see. Yeah, that looks alright. Alright, so we're actually going to use this door based on like physics. Now, if we just turn on simulate physics at this point, it's just going to fall everywhere like a mess. But if we lock the position and we lock the X and Y rotation, but leaving the Z, what should happen is now if we walk into our door, woo, it just opens, right? A couple of things at this point. It's sort of catching on the floor a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move it up a touch. Also, I've not got a door frame. So in lieu of a door frame, I'm just going to create a cube real quick. And we'll just use this as a quick makeshift sort of door frame. Okay, so again, make sure it's not sort of touching, because if it touches, it'll catch. But we want it to, stop it from opening too far. I mean, it's a bit too far away at the moment, but push it. Push the door frame. I think we're still sort of touching on the floor a little bit. Also, the cube does not want to be attached to the door. So I should move the door up one more and move you a little bit closer in. One thing you might end up wanting to sort of tweak potentially is the sort of thickness of it. So I might just, for example, set this to like half thickness. Right, let's test that again. Cool, door opens, kind of like a crazy little barn door. Now there are things you might want to tweak at this point. For example, if we go down and we look for angular dampening, and set that to say a high number like 4, it's going to make it just deal a little bit chunkier and sort of like bounce around a bit less. And I think that's sort of more what we want. Cool. Let me just move that and put it in front of the player. Easy to get to. Okay. So at this point, now we want it to close by itself. And what we're going to need to do is we're going to need a box collision. So note, make sure this box is parented to the door frame and not the actual door itself. And we're going to scale it up. Whoa. Make it moosive. So when we leave this box, we're going to want the door to sort of automatically close by itself, right? So scroll down on the right side and get the third plus button on end overlap. So I'm just using a third person character in a moment. So I'm going to grab my third person character. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to want to close the door on a timeline. So I'm going to create a timeline and double click it to open it. And by default, these are like 5 seconds. Let me just add 2 points. I'm holding shift to add them. Let's get a second point. Set you to be like 3 seconds and the value of 1. Make sure you change the length and whatnot. What you can also do is if you highlight them and right click and say auto, give it some nice automatic curves. Alright, so play this from the start, and what we want is we want to get a door. So let's get to door. And let's get the world rotation. And what we'll do is we'll split this world rotation, and we want to get our Z. Actually, let's do one of these at the beginning. So on beginning of play, we want to get our Z, and we're going to promote this to a variable, and we're going to just call this start Z, right? Because not all doors are going to be at the same angle. And so what I mean by this is if I've got a door here, and I've got a door over here, right? Those have got different start Zs. So I'm just going to want to record that rotation. So that way we know what is the desired endpoint that we want to get to. And we're going to want to use a lerp, a rotator lerp. So I'm going to get my rotator lerp, and what I'm going to do is actually for now, let's just recombine these and put you into there. So that's our start point. Our time, so that is controlled by here. So this is going to take it from our start point to our end point. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get another one of these. So Control C, Control V, or Control D, but that sometimes doesn't always work. And our end point is going to be made from these plus our desired Z. And make sure we force the shortest path. And then we also want a set world rotation. And that is going to be from our new thing, which is going to be updated in here. And let's give that a test. So if we open the door and we walk away from the door, it naturally closes. Isn't that awesome? Walk away from the door. Sweet. And will it work on a different Z point? Walk away. Yeah, isn't that awesome? But just so this isn't firing literally every time we walk past it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a sort of like a logic system, like a logic test. So I'm just going to create a branch, an if, and I'm going to ask the question. Basically, we want to check is if it's still in its starting place, don't play the animation, don't run the animation, because otherwise you'll sort of like get like a weird glitch, because it does take 3 seconds to close. If we sort of walk away, it doesn't behave all that well because it's still trying to play its animation. So I would just want to ask, get some logic. So let's get that start Z, and let's say if the start Z is greater than, if it's greater than, let's get our world rotation again. So if our start Z is greater than our current Z plus, I don't know, say 5, or it's less than our current Z minus 5. Oops. Let's put these together with an or. So if it's greater than our starting position, or if it's less than our starting position, then play the animation. Otherwise, do nothing, right? Because, like I say, what we don't want is to be walking back and forth through this and it's playing the animation. So if we just put this on my screen, let's just check that. So what should be happening is when we walk past, it should be, yeah, see, it's not running. But if we open the door a little bit and now walk away, it plays it. All right, there we go. Couple of doors that sort of close automatically. Whew, that was hard. Harder than it thought it was going to be. Cool. Thanks for watching.